Hey, what is going on? You know who it is. You know what it is. All right, you guys, peep game. So, we all know what happened with Jaime Munguia. That Jaime Munguia, basically, his VADA testing or his drug test came up dirty, tainted, whatever you want to call it. They saying that he can request his B samples, basically, to have like a second look at his B samples. Basically, if his B samples are a little bit different, then they're going to have to further investigate the situation, then see what they're going to do. Now, in all likelihood, his B samples will remain the same. They will be positive, just like the A samples, which will mean that they found a banned substance in his system, which would lead to him being in trouble. And in all likelihood, his recent fight where he won is going to be overturned to a no contest. Now, depending on what happens, the guy that he fought, he could petition for it to be a disqualification win, and then this guy will have 2 victories over Jaime Munguia. But it all depends on what the guy wants to do with this situation. Now, he's came out and said, hey, he couldn't beat me in the first fight because I stopped him, so he needed to cheat. And he basically called them a cheater. So now, here's the thing. Now, what is going to be Jaime Munguia's response to this? How is he going to explain how did the banned substance get in his system? Now, will he use the situation that Canelo used? Oh, it was the meat that I was eating and all this kind of stuff, or I don't know, it was some tea or whatever the case may be. But I think the real question comes in the hand is the trainer. Why is all this always aligned with him? Why is this always linked to Eddie Reynoso? This is the 5th fighter that Eddie Reynoso has trained, at least, and has popped dirty for some kind of banned substance. To be honest with you, if this was considered to be a criminal case, it would be enough to at least, put Eddie Reynoso on trial. But I will say this much. Eddie Reynoso needs to have a hearing with the boxing commissions and the sanctioning bodies, and he needs to explain, why does this keep happening? This is 5 fighters. And then if you want to add Ryan Garcia, 6, because Ryan Garcia has been linked. Well, you're not gonna say has been linked. Ryan Garcia tested positive for a banned substance and was suspended. But Ryan Garcia has had dealings with Eddie Reynoso. So there is enough to at least have a hearing. And he needs to start being questioned. And you can't ignore this anymore. Actually, after the 3rd fighter linked to him tested positive, you should have been like, hey man, what's going on with you? What's going on with you, dude? But boxing has turned a blind eye to this. And then you get these people online, they try to justify this. All of a sudden, they're scientists. They want to sit up there and say, well, the amalgam wouldn't have affected. Listen, you only saying this because this particular fighter may have beat a fighter that you're not fond of. Okay? But this is a serious problem. And I do feel that they need to run an investigation, and Eddie Reynoso needs to explain, why does this keep happening? Why? Why does this keep happening? Now it's like you're past the repeat offender. You know, you're like that lady that got like 5 kids by 5 different men, but she's still blaming the men that she have children by. It's their fault. And nobody is holding her accountable, saying, hey, you got 5 kids by 5 different men. Obviously, you're not using protection. You're a repeat offender. So this is on you now. Okay? You keep doing the same shit. So it's not their fault now. They have to look at you, and this is what we need to do in regards to Eddie Reynoso. It's like, why we're not looking at him? He's a repeat offender. And people got to start calling this dude into question. And see, this is the problem with media, boxing media. This is the problem with, boxers. They pick and choose who they want to lay down the law with and who they want to get at. They pick and choose. They'll go, and then they pick certain outlets who they talk this stuff about. Oh, well, I don't want to go deep into it with this media outlet, or, well, I'm going to kind of ease back on what I'm going to say in regards to this. So it got to be some consistency. So now the dudes that went in on other people, they got to start talking about, hey, man, what's going on with this dude? It doesn't matter whether this dude is a trainer of the year or a world-renowned trainer. Listen, at the end of the day, you got to just keep it a buck. Panama Lewis back in the 80s, the early 80s and everything, he was considered I don't know about world-renowned, but he was considered a great trainer. But we all know what happened with Panama Lewis. And the problem is with Panama Lewis played stupid all the way up until, he went to his grave. Listen, you fuck with dudes' gloves. You took the patent out, and mostly everybody know that you did it. But then at the same time, you playing stupid. You playing stupid. You don't know how it happened, and you should have just said, "Hey, I did it." Because you went to jail for it, and you were banned from ever being, ringside with a fighter. So obviously there was enough, evidence to conclude that, hey, you did it. And Panama Lewis, that's what I didn't really respect about him, because, listen, he got caught, they believed he did it, and he went to his grave not telling the truth, saying, hey, I, took the patent out of the gloves. Now, back then they didn't have the internet and all this kind of stuff, but still, we have the internet. And a lot of these boxing content creators, a lot of media are not calling this out about Eddie Reynoso. And he needs to get called out. People need to go public and say, hey, Eddie, why does this keep happening to you? Now, of course, if I tried to ask him, he's going to act like he doesn't understand. Or he wouldn't understand what I'm saying because he doesn't speak English. Or at least, he makes us believe that he doesn't speak English. So, it's time to call him to the carpet. And it's time for people to publicly call him out and say, hey, Eddie, why does this keep happening with you? But then, like I said, a lot of people, they're not like me. Because the bigger content creators, the bigger boxing media channel are the people that's, got a lot of stature in media. They're not going to call this out because they have to play these games. They got to play stupid because they don't want to rock the boat, because they may lose access or a certain amount of access. But at the end of the day, if you got dudes that's intentionally cheating, they need to be called out. So that's all I'm saying about Eddie Reynoso. Why does people continue to let him get away with this and not call this out? Okay? So that's all I have to say about that. But nevertheless, it's your boy Town. I'm out. Thank you.